All right, we are live. So we're going to go with Zoom here today. And let me get this tweeted out for everybody so you can join in here. 1 second, please. All right, so we'll take a little minute here to get it going. And we'll get the chat pulled up here on the side. So again, if you can, click all panelists and attendees when you're in the chat room, in the chat box. And this way you can just kind of jump there and everybody can see what you're typing. So we'll get that going there. So let me put this out right here too. Put this out here too. Let's see. There. Okay, cool. Good. All right. Well, awesome. Good. So, sorry about YouTube tonight. Not really sure what's going on with that. I actually tried both the broadcaster and the Zoom broadcaster to connect to YouTube, and I kept getting an internal server error. So, we're just gonna go ahead and do this here through as a Zoom webinar, and it's actually kind of cool because this is what we use in our group and on our live streams in the morning and at the close of the market day, where we it's kind of easier to interact when we use our Discord, things like that. So there's a little bit of a lag on YouTube, but I do like YouTube, so I'm sure they'll get that resolved here somehow. So anyway, guys, today we're going to be going over this little thing that crashed the market today. So so good stuff there. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the disclaimer right here. Hold on 1 sec. Just trying to get used to Zoom here for this. Okay, so before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off with the market today, and then we are going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening, and then we'll go through the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, let me find this window right here. Give me 1 second, guys. There it is. Okay, cool. So good stuff, guys. So here's the SPX, down 35 points here today. A bit of an upper shadow here off of the upper Bollinger Band. So a little bit concerning, right, as we continue to figure out if this market really wants to pull back here, or if it's just a little bit of a minor small retracement. So a couple key things right here inside week here so far, and we are still over the mid Bollinger Band, and our McClellan oscillator still hasn't worked its way down here. So we'll see how that goes. As for the SPX itself, we still have two gaps, right? So we've got the gap above and the gap below, right? So we definitely want to see how the market handles this, and there's a couple of different ways to count this, right? And we've been waiting for a solid wave count on this, and really it's been pretty challenging. And I think I accidentally deleted one of the old wave counts on this, but it's okay. One possibility right here is that this is an A, this is a B, right? And this is a C, basically a zigzag move down. And it's possible here that there's a couple different counts that you can look at here. This could be a shallow wave 2, and this could be a deeper wave 4, and we just go up from here. Or, right, you can look at this as a wave 1, right? And then we'll see if it turns into a wave 4, or I'm sorry, excuse me, a larger wave 2, like basically a 618 pullback here. Okay. And we'll see how it handles this the 618 if it gets to that area, and if we really start to work our way up. Okay, so that's one possible count on this one. Another possible count is that this was an impulsive wave down, right? And this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3, this is your 4, and this is your 5. Okay, and this is the A, this is the B. This is your C move, right? Wave 2. So wave 1, wave 2, and then this could be a subwave 1, 2, and we might be working on a larger wave 3 down. So either way, right? So this is bearish, right? The larger wave 2 pullback is bearish. So it wouldn't be surprising to see this get a little bit bearish here, one way or the other, right? So we'll see how that goes, and if we bounce off of that and get going. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. We were green a little bit ago, but it looks like they've turned it red here. So let's see if the bears can step up overnight and bring this thing down maybe to the scene of the breakout. But we'll see how it goes there. Again, the big thing right here is the just basically lost this channel here overnight, right? So we got this going here, Here, that's some pretty decent selling. That's pretty some red candles right here on the 5 minute chart, working its way down out of that channel. So we'll see how that holds here this evening. Again, we're basically right at the lows of the day, and we do have a signal zone down here, right at about the 40.90 level. So let's see if it gets down there and how it handles that there today. So good stuff. Anyway, guys, so today we're going to be talking about this little thing, right? So this little thing that crashed the stock market today, right? So again, this is the kind of the image of the market right here and what we're going to be talking about. So really appreciate everybody for jumping in the Zoom here. If you want to share the chat with everybody else, if you go to the bottom of the chat box and you click all panelists and attendees instead of all panelists, you can share it with everybody there. But either way, it's all good. So let's take a look here, and let me switch back here to the stock here, and we'll talk about what the market was up to here. So let's see. So we've got this, and okay. So let's take a look. So what crashed the market today? Well, it's a little bit extreme right there to say that the market is really crashing right here, but there's definitely some pretty sharp red action today, right? Some downside action, and one of the big things here with that. Right, there's no tweets, right? There's no real news that kind of is doing this. So these are all technical moves. So the little thing that crashed the market today, that basically gave us a heads up that this thing was ready to go, right? Was the triangle range right here. So we got really tight today, and it's tough when the volatility is starting to perk its way up. It's tough to stay tight for too long, right? So anytime we get this type of triangle move and the volatility starts getting high, we can't really get bored and can't really rest on our laurels on this one. We have to look to potentially take action, right? So now, does that mean we take the momentum move out of this level? No, not necessarily. In fact, the retest ended up being pretty good, but the actual entry on this one here was this candle right here, which happens to be an outside candle, right? So we had an inside candle right here, couldn't take it back down, but this outside candle right here got some nice follow through as soon as it formed, right? And for a good push down. And if you go to the SPY, right, very similarly, what you'll see here is here's your outside candle right here, and look at the volume, right? Basically double volume on that candle. So at the very least, it's an attempt. Whether or not this market was going to crash or really flush here today is is debatable, but that's still a good actionable candle right there, and gave a nice move down. And honestly, this is good profit zone right here. So so good stuff there. And then of course we had a retrace off of that, which ended up being pretty bearish into the close as well. So let's take a look at that retrace right here, and you can see it was basically right off of the 618, right, and gave us a nice inside candle, a couple upper shadows right here, and then it was all down into the end of the day. And as you can see here, it's working its way down here after hours. So this is the little thing right here that crashed the market, and then this candle right here. So big triangle that lasted from the market open until about the first breakdown right here. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon of just pure chop, and then the retest, and then the outside candle to get things going to the downside. So even if you missed this right here, there's your 618 move. It gave you a big candle right here for a flush into the close. Like I said, we're getting a little bit of follow through here now after hours. So good stuff. That's it. That's the little thing that crashed the market right there. So at this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat box. I know it's tough here with the Zoom. It's a little bit different than we're used to with YouTube. I just couldn't get YouTube working tonight. So hopefully they didn't get upset with my Elon picture or something like that. But Shirley also sent a few here, so let me grab these real quick, and I'll get those posted too. So Shirley, a couple of these ones are kind of like penny stocks, so it makes it a little bit tough. But let's take a look at these names here. So we'll get those. And Jax, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And Shirley's got those there. So let me get that message here, and we'll go from there. So good stuff. So GG, let's take a look. And again, guys, if you can click all panelists and attendees, that's helpful. So everybody else can see, see that you're out there posting and all that stuff. But if you don't, it's fine. All panelists still goes to me, and I'm able to see it. So that's one of the most frustrating things about the Zoom chat, by the way. And I've complained to him about it before, and I'm like, why can't we just make it default all panelists and attendees? Oh, it's just not part of the chat. So, it is what it is. If anybody wants to become a billionaire, or at least a millionaire, develop a great chat software that also has great video integration, right? That would have been a huge thing to have during this last pandemic type thing. Anyway, let's take a look here. So good stuff. So GG, we got ELOX. Let's take a look. ELOX. Oh, ELOX. Let's take a look at this one right here. So yeah, really rough move here. Again, it's a biotech name, it's a biopharma name. These are really tough names to trade, right? Anything could happen with these, especially if they're working on some sort of major thing, right? A new discovery or something like that, waiting on FDA approval. So it looks kind of like a falling wedge right here. It's definitely been cascading down. This last gap down here is pretty rough, and it's basically a penny stock right now, and it has been really. So at this point now, I would probably wait to see if it could break out of this geometric line if you tighten it up here to this level right here, to see if it's getting ready to get going. So good stuff there. I'm not sure what the news was on this. Eli Soros announces closing a public offering of common, including full exercise underwriters options to purchase additional shares. So yeah, that's always blah. So very interesting there. Good. And what else? Let's take a look here and see what we got. So we've got Krishna. So we got a couple requests out there. Let's take a look here. We've got Airbnb. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Airbnb really rough, right? It's below the ADMA. Had a rough candle yesterday with huge increasing volume, right? Couldn't get going after earnings and kind of a spinning top here today. So where could this thing go? Well, it still hasn't tested its low, its IPO, post IPO lows. So if it does break down below these levels right here and it gets any momentum, look to see if it could test that area there. So that's looking pretty interesting. Neo, let's take a look. So Neo. Again, we'd love for this name to get going. It's kind of holding this level right now, but it looks like it's really just kind of range bound right now. So again, look for little moves on this one. It seems like its heyday is a little bit over, right? And so just kind of see how it holds, and if it maybe get some news to get it going. It's had a lot of decent news recently, but just no follow through on anything. So we'll see how that goes. And GM, let's take a look. So General Motors, upper shadow here off the cloud, and ends up closing below the ADMA here, increasing volume. So keep an eye on it. See if it breaks down below today's lows and if it can get going. Tough name to trade because it's such a slow mover on the options, but when it goes, right? So good stuff there. And then STIC, okay, so nice little a SPAC name right here, but really tight. So let's look for a nice strong candle to try to get out of that range. So good stuff there. And Jax, yeah, let's take a look at GME. So let's see how this is looking right here. Strong move today, right? A big push. Off of yesterday's highs, but back in range, right? Back to the 50-day moving average. I'd really like to see this one get going. They bought the dip really nicely here today. Nice retraces that worked their way up. And then it's kind of that push into the close with the rest of the market was a little bit blah. I would like to have seen it push up with the market going down to get a little bit more confidence of it, to show it's been kind of inverse. So we'll see how that goes. And Shirley sent a few in here. So CVS, definitely a standout name for sure. Guys, remember how it broke out of this channel right here, kind of pulled back a little bit and started to get going? This is a huge breakout candle right here today. That's really impressive with increasing volume. Definitely want to keep on the radar to see if that momentum can continue. And at very least, if it can hold this area of prior resistance as support, right? So say it goes up a little bit for a couple of days or maybe a day, pulls back down there, see if it holds that, and we can get another bounce on it too. So that's another one to keep an eye on. And then Plug, let's take a look at Plug. So PLUG, let's take a look. So PLUG, inside day up over the ADMA with a push here. And let's see, right? So this is a strong sector today. A lot of these electric vehicle names had some good moves. Let's see if we can, or the plug-in names had some good moves today. Let's see if we can push up to the 200-day and get going. So good stuff there. Aaron, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, T with a little bit of downside follow through today, guys. When you see a huge bearish engulfing candle like this, sometimes it might not hurt to try at least a little lotto put on this one, right? So the 30 puts on it, what was those today? So the dot T 2105 21P to say the 30 puts from yesterday. And yesterday was a pretty volatile day too, but these closed yesterday at 8 cents and hit $1.26 today on those puts. Just a little bit of an out of the money move on T. So pretty cool stuff there. In terms of follow through, now we got a lower shadow off the 200-day moving average. I would not be surprised if this consolidated for like 20 to 30 days or something like that before getting ready to go. But again, no real major, generally pretty good news, right? Some of the work that they did, but the market did not like it yesterday. So we'll see how that goes. Vivian, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at Tiger. So Tigre, hanging in there, right? So this recent pullback was actually a pretty good retrace here. So we had this move, and we pulled right back to the 886. So at this point here, it's kind of like an 886, 886, 886. It just has to go. It just has to go. And we've got the earnings coming up, so maybe if it can kind of creep above the 50-day moving average and into the cloud here with some volume, maybe give it a little bit of an earnings run. So let's keep an eye on that one too. Paul, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at Amazon. So Amazon, Again, guys, this is a lot of names gave some bearish engulfing candles here today, right? So Amazon did, right? Gave a nice little run up right here, gave a good move, and then kind of gave this bearish engulfing candle. I asked in the public Twitter earlier, I said, what did Apple not do today? It gave a bearish engulfing, type move as well. Volume, right? We didn't have the volume to kind of be like, yeah, this thing's really getting ready to go, but still a nasty candle, right? And over a 60% chance that it gets followed through the downside. So let's see how that goes there. Google, similar. It's actually a bearish engulfing candle because the real body is covered. It looks like it's covering the real body. Let's see, the open here was 63.57 and the close here was 62.47. So technically it is a bearish engulfing with the real bodies engulfing. This one did have increasing volume. So this gap could be a major target there for Google. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Good. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, Paul. Really appreciate it. John, what's happening? PayPal. You still see it finishing at zigzag. Let's take a look down to around the 200 SMA. So let's see here. So yeah, this looks like it's a possibility. It's here. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see the ABC up 1, 2, 3, kind of a wave forward triangle here, maybe. And then let's see if we can get a breakdown out of this, right? So triangles usually we like to be a little bit bigger, but it is tight. So see if we can break down right here. And then I like that to the 200-day moving average, especially the market week. Very possible. Short entry would be 237 for confirmation. Yeah, basically below wherever it's, triangulating right here. So kind of in this area. But yeah, 237 could be a good area. Great find on that one. And then JKS, let's take a look. So JKS. Some dark pool prints on tan today. Nice. And yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised. These ones have been getting crushed here for a while. So they could either be selling their positions or putting on some short opportunities right here. I mean, this had an epic run up here recently, I think pre-election, right? Everything is like, hey, energy is going to be the big thing, right? Da, 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 da. And then we got, kind of the pullback, right? So the after effect right here. So wouldn't be surprised if it eventually pulled back to this area. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on too. Good finds on that too. Yeah, Vivian. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much for tuning in. So good stuff, guys. Yeah, definitely a interesting market here today. Volatility is starting to pick up. One of the things that we're looking at here is the VIX. Right, starting to make some moves again. And again, guys, we go over all this stuff in our bubble report for anybody out there that's not in our group or a part of the bubble report. Right, we analyze this stuff each morning to kind of give some heads up on what's going on. We had a big spike right here. Wasn't surprised to see the drop on this one, but it's kind of perking up again. Not saying it's going to go crazy, right? We had a big spike here, drop, and then you had a nice strong candle right here and some follow through. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a little bit of follow through on this, right? So, we just really have to see what kind of catalyst can get things going again. The only real big news that's coming up this week is tomorrow is FOMC minutes. And usually it's a non-issue, right? It's just the minutes from the last Fed day, right? Next Fed day is next mid-June. So we really just want to see if if there's any more emphasis on the inflation worries, right? So that's kind of a big thing that get the market going again. Other than that, guys, it's option expiration week, so it's OPEX day on Friday for monthlies in May, and that's interesting. So we may still continue to see some chop into OPEX, and then maybe early next week, once those other options start to take the gamma of those start to take control, we'll start to see some more moves. So that could be interesting too. But anyway, guys, really appreciate everybody for tuning in on Zoom here. Sorry we couldn't go on YouTube tonight, but I'm going to attempt to, hopefully I'm saving the recording here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to save the recording. I'm going to post it on YouTube, so anybody who wasn't able to make it will be able to catch it there too. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. And stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys soon.